Hello, everybody. Everybody, hello. Hello, everybody. Everybody, hello. Hello to. Oh my goodness, I can still hear you. Well, hello and welcome back to all of my friends. I hope you had wonderful holidays, Hanukkah and Christmas. New Year's. Some of you I've seen at the library and we've celebrated together. Others I'm still missing because you're still home, or maybe like some of my friends in California, you're too far away. So, Happy New Year. Let me just show you what we did at the library on New Year's Eve day. So, some of you might have seen on TV or YouTube down in New York City in a place called Times Square. At the very top of a building, right before midnight, a very shiny ball is dropped. Well, not dropped, but they lower it down just before midnight. Okay, what does that say? Well, we did this from a tree at the library. That says 2021. So can you pretend that it's New Year's Eve? And when we count down from 10 to 0, we'll say Happy New Year, okay? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, it fell. Happy New Year. Kind of fell out of my hand. So, 2021. We said bye-bye to 2020 on January 1st at midnight. And hello to 2021. It worked much better when we lowered it from the tree. So, those of you who've been with me at the library know I usually have my calendar with me. We said bye-bye 2020, and I do have to get a new 2021 calendar. And you know, how many of you know, how many months are there in a year? Some of you know. Oh, I heard a couple of you say 12. 12 months in the year. Do you know what they are? Should we do them together? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, the last month of the year. And if you noticed, I was counting on one hand, and some of you know in sign language, you only count one on one hand. So, and if you see your birthday, shout it out. Okay? I know my friend Soof and my friend, happy birthday. Cypress just had a birthday in January, just the other day. So it'd be January, bye-bye January. Hello and goodbye to February. Pretty beautiful, huh? Hello and goodbye to March. Birthdays. Hello and goodbye to April. The weather's starting to get a little warmer. Winter's over. Ooh, looks nice. Goodbye to April. Hello to May. I know I have a lot of friends who have birthdays in May. Hello and goodbye to May. Hello to June. Oh, it's getting nice and warm. Hello and goodbye to June, and goodbye to June. Hello to July. Look at that thunderstorm, huh? Lightning. It's a great picture of lightning. Hello and goodbye. And we have August. Bye-bye, August. Hello, September. Some of you went back to school. Bye-bye, September. Hello, October. And in October, we had birthdays and we had Halloween. And then we said bye, October. Hello, November. And we had Thanksgiving. Bye-bye, November. Hello, December. And we had Hanukkah this year in December. Next year, it's in November. And Christmas. And then on the 31st, the very last day, is when we did the countdown for the new year. So, what have we been reading at the library? Because you know, also, every month brings special days and special holidays. And I love January. And some people say, why do you love January? It's cold, which is fine. Because warm clothing, right? Keeps you nice and warm and toasty. It's hat month. Do you have a favorite hat? It's Hat Month, and we have lots of great stories about hats. How many of you love soup? Okay, when I count to 3, shout out your favorite soup. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, I hear chicken noodle, and I hear tomato, and I hear, what else did I hear? Vegetable. I heard pumpkin soup. Wow. Okay. Well, some of you love soup. And at the library, at the end of the month, to celebrate Soup Month, we always make stone soup, which will be our very first book today. And I have wonderful variations of stone soup. That means that somebody wrote the book, Stone Soup, and then people said, that's a great idea. I'm going to mix up the story a little bit, maybe bring it to a different place. Same idea, but it creates a whole new story, and I have lots of them. So, stone soup. Some of you know bone soup from Halloween. I know it's one of your favorites. How Finnegan made an amazing soup from a dried up bone. Well, they thought it was amazing. If you're a zombie and a monster and a witch, etc., you would have thought it was a great soup. So here we go. This is by Marcia Brown. And this was a story that people used to tell without books. They would just share the story. And then somebody wrote it down. And Marcia Brown wrote down this one. This one takes place in France. Oh, there are some soldiers stirring up a big pot of soup in the town. This is also about sharing and how things can be better when we share. Like Pete the Cat and the pizza party, right? Pizza's always better when you share it with friends. Well, here are some soldiers trudging down the road, walking toward a town. They were hungry, on their way home. Besides being tired, they were very, very, very hungry. In fact, they hadn't eaten for 2 days. "Oh," said the first soldier, "how I would love a good dinner tonight." And the second one said, "Oh, and a real bed to sleep in, not like the hard ground we've been sleeping on." "But all that is impossible," said the third. "We must march on." And they marched and they marched, and they got closer to the village. And they got really excited when they saw the village, because in the village might be, right, food, a place to sleep as well. Okay. Ahead of them, they saw the lights of a village. "Maybe we can find a bite to eat there," said the first soldier. "And a loft to sleep in," said the second. "No harm in asking. What's the worst they can say?" No, right, of course. So now the peasants of that place feared strangers. They were not welcoming to strangers. When they heard that 3 soldiers were coming, they talked amongst themselves. "Here come soldiers. Soldiers are always hungry, but we have little enough food for ourselves." And they hurried to hide all the food they had: cabbage, carrots, meat, grain. They hid everything. They pushed sacks of barley, which is a grain, under the hay in the lofts. They lowered buckets of milk down in the wells where they get water, where they didn't think that the soldiers would find them. And then they spread quilts over their carrot bins, and they hid their cabbages and potatoes under their beds. And they hung their meats in the cellar. They hid everything they had to eat. And then they waited. They waited for the soldiers to arrive. The soldiers stopped at the first house of Paul and Francois. Do they look very welcoming, those people in the window? Don't think so. "Good evening," they said very politely. "Could you please spare a bit of food for 3 hungry soldiers?" "We have no food for ourselves. We haven't eaten for 3 days," said Paul. Francois made a sad face. "It has been a very poor harvest. Our gardens, our farms did not give us much this year. The 3 soldiers went on to the house of Albert and Louise. Louise, could you please spare a bit of food? And maybe you have a little corner where we could sleep for the night? Oh no, said Albert. We gave all of our spare food to the soldiers who were here before you. And our beds are full, said Louise. At Vincent and Marie's house, the answer was exactly the same. It had been a poor harvest, and all the grain must be kept for seed to plant for next year's crops. And so it went all through the village. Not one peasant had any food to give away. And they all had good reasons. One family had used the grain for feed for their animals. Another had an old sick father that they had to take care of. And they had too many mouths to feed too many members of their family who were going to be hungry. No food, sorry. The villagers stood in the street and they sighed. And they looked as hungry as they could. Well, see the soldiers? They're talking amongst themselves. Maybe they have an idea. They did. Here comes the idea that you might know. The first soldier called out, "Good people of this village," and the peasants drew near. "We are 3 hungry soldiers in a strange land. We have asked you for food, and you have no food. Well then, we will have to make stone soup." And this is what we make at the library, and it's delicious. Those of you who've had it know it's really good. The peasants stared. "Whatever are you talking about? Stone soup? This is something that they would have to know about. First, we need a large iron pot." The peasants brought the largest pot they could find. How else to cook enough for everyone? That is a big pot. It needed to be put on the wagon. "That's none too large," said the soldier. "It will do. And now, water to fill it and a fire to heat it." Got to get that water boiling for soup. How many of you have ever helped make soup? Yeah, usually water, broth, right? It took many, many buckets of water. See, villagers are carrying their buckets of water to fill the pot. The fire is started, and now we wait. Okay, it was set to boil. And now, if you please bring us 3 round stones. That's a sign for stones. Smooth ones, please. Those were easy enough to find. The peasant's eyes grew round. What? They're going to put stones in that pot and call it soup? Kerplunk, kerplunk, kerplunk. The soldiers threw in the 3 stones. "Any soup needs a little bit of salt and pepper," said the soldiers as they began to stir. And guess what? Those 2 children ran to get the salt and pepper. Stones like these generally make good soup, but oh, if we had some carrots, it would be much better. "Well," said Francois, "I think I have a carrot or 2 I could spare." And she came back with her whole apron full of carrots. Wow, that she had hidden beneath the red quilt. Well, since they have their sharp swords, they chopped up the carrots, sliced and chopped them, and in they went to the soup. And now, this is a fun sign, the sign for carrot. You hold your carrot out there, like a bunny. And this is the sign for cabbage. And the soldier said, "A good stone soup should have cabbage." And, but I guess there's no use asking for what you don't have, right? You don't have any cabbage. Oh, said Marie, I think I might be able to find a cabbage somewhere. And she hurried home, and back she came with 1, 2, 3 cabbages in her arms. Yay. Oh my goodness. If only we had a bit of beef and a few potatoes, this soup would be good enough for a rich man's table. The peasants looked at each other, thought it over, and they remembered their potatoes and their sides of beef hanging in their cellars, and they ran to fetch them. A rich man's soup, and all from a few stones. It seemed like magic. Look at the townspeople, everybody going home and adding something to the soup. Wow. Ah, said the soldiers as they stirred the soup and stirred in the beef and the potatoes. If only we had a little barley and a cup of milk. Oh, what would that would do to the soup? This would be fit for the king himself. And indeed, they said, he asked for such a soup the last time we ate with him. The peasants looked at each other. Wow. The soldiers had entertained the king? Well, but, said the soldiers, no use asking. Don't worry about it for what you don't have. The peasants brought their barley from the lofts. They brought their milk from the wells. And the soldiers stirred the barley and the milk into the steaming broth while the peasants just stared and smelled. Can you smell it? It's starting to smell really good. At last, the soup was ready. All of you shall taste, the soldiers said. But first, a table must be set. Great tables were placed in the square, and all around they lit torches. Looks like it's going to be a party, right? All from 3 stones. Such a soup. How good it smelled, truly fit for a king. But then the peasants asked themselves, would not such a soup require bread and a roast and cider? And soon a banquet was spread, and everyone sat down to eat together and shared. Never had there been such a feast. Never had the peasants tasted such soup. And fancy that, just made from stones. And they ate and they drank and they ate and they drank. And after that they danced and they danced and they danced and they danced. It was such a celebration. They danced far into the night. And at last everybody was tired, happy, full, tired. They'd had a great time with each other. And they'd had a great time with the soldiers who showed them how to make stone soup. And then the 3 soldiers asked, perhaps there is a loft, the upper part of your barn, where we could sleep? Oh, come, they said. The villagers said, to let 3 such wise and splendid gentlemen sleep in a loft? You must have the best beds in town. The first soldier slept in the priest's house, the leader of the church, right? The second soldier slept in the baker's house. And the third soldier slept in the mayor's house, and he's the leader of the town. Now, I always ask you, friends, if you had a choice, whose house would you want to sleep in? The priest, the baker, or the mayor? I heard some of you say baker. And why? That's right. Because early in the morning, when the baker wakes up and goes down to the shop, which is connected to his house, he he starts baking bread, cake, and cookies, and muffins. And it's his France, so croissant for sure. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be delightful to wake up in the morning and go right to the bakery and have something yummy and fresh to eat? So if you said baker, I agree with you. I'd want to sleep at the baker's house. Well, in the morning, the whole village gathered in the square to give them a send-off, which means to say goodbye. Many thanks, they said, for what you have taught us. We will never go hungry now, for we know how to make soup from stones. Oh, they said as they waved goodbye, it's all in knowing how. And off they went down the road. And the people looked after them as they left and thought, such men do not grow on every bush. And that's an expression, they don't grow on trees. People like that don't grow on trees. So they shared, each contributed, and that's what we do. When we make stone soup, everybody brings a different ingredient, and every year our stone soup is delicious and different. Okay, good listening, friends. Now we have a hat story. One of my favorites. Caps for sale. Yes, that's coming. Not today, though. But we have read that at the library. Actually, two hat stories. One is more of a library story than a hat story. You remember this one? That's a bear. Bear's not happy. Title of the book is I Want My Hat Back by John Klassen. What's that? Keep your eye on that hat. It's a little red hat in the shape of a triangle, pointy on top. Remember that hat. The bear has lost his hat. What if he never sees it again? Wait a minute. He has seen his hat. I want my hat back. How would you feel if somebody took your favorite hat? You would not be happy. If somebody took my hat without permission, I would not be happy either. My hat is gone. I want it back, said the bear. And the bear met a fox. Exactly. Fox, he asked, have you seen my hat? Nope, I haven't seen your hat. Okay, thank you anyway. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. And then the bear met the frog, right? Hey, frog, excuse me, have you seen my hat? Nope, I have not seen any hats around here. Okay, thank you anyway, said the bear. Now, I want to explain before I show you the next picture. If I'm not looking down, I may not be able to see what's on the floor, right? And the bear is looking out in the next picture, trying to find his hat. Oops. Who's wearing his hat? The rabbit. But because the bear is looking out and not looking down, he doesn't see the hat. Hey, rabbit, have you seen my hat? And the rabbit says, no. Why are you asking me? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any hats anywhere. I would not steal a hat. Don't ask me any more questions. Okay, thank you. Thanks anyway, said the bear. Then the bear meets up with a turtle. A little turtle who's having trouble climbing that rock. Hey, turtle, have you seen my hat? I haven't seen anything all day. I've been trying to climb this rock. And because he was a very kind bear, he said, would you like me to lift you up on top of the rock? Oh, yes, please, please, said the little turtle. Next, bear meets up with a snake. Hey, snake, have you seen my hat? I saw a hat once. It was blue and round. Is that the bear's hat? Blue and round? Nope. Red and pointy, like a triangle. No, my hat doesn't look like that, but thank you anyway. This is the funniest one. Then he met a mole. Hey, mole, have you seen my hat? Mole said, what's a hat? Not much help. Thank you anyway, goodbye. Oh, poor bear. Bear lay down on the ground. He's so sad. Nobody has seen my hat. What if I never see it again? What if nobody finds it? My poor hat. I miss it so much. Along comes a deer. Looks down at the bear and asks, what's the matter? I've lost my hat and nobody has seen it. What does your hat look like? Asked the deer. It's red and it's pointy, and all of a sudden, Bear thinks, wait a minute, I think I saw it out of the corner of my eye. And there's an expression, seeing red. He's angry. And in those big letters he says, I have seen my hat. Wait a minute, I have seen it. Whoa. And look at him run. Can you tell that he's running? By the way, John Klassen drew his legs and his arms. We know, even though it's not a video or a movie, that he's running. And he ran past all of the animals he had met that day and asked about the hat. Uh-oh. Are you ready? There's the bunny. And Bear says, you stole my hat. They say nothing. They just stare at each other. Wonder what's going to happen. I love my hat, said the bear. He got his hat back. Kind of looks funny on him because it's a little hat and he's so big. Oh, he's so happy. He has his hat back. Along comes a squirrel. And the squirrel says, excuse me, Bear, have you seen a rabbit wearing a hat? No. Why are you asking me? I haven't seen him. I haven't seen any rabbits anywhere. I would not eat a rabbit. Don't ask me any more questions. Okay, thank you, said the squirrel. Bye. The end. What happened to the rabbit? Think about it. Let me know what you think. Okay. Good listening, friends. This is a wonderful story about the red knit cap girl and the reading tree. Very cool. And her friends in the forest. They all love to read, just like I do and you do. And they love reading together, which I love to do with you, whether it's at the library, outside, we're still outside, or in your classroom, or in your house when you turn on this video. The Red Knit Cap Girl by Naoko Stoop. And the illustrations, the pictures in this book are so beautiful. Look at those rainbow colors. What is the little red knit cat girl doing? She's reading a book. She has a couple of friends with her, and what are they? You're right, turtles. We read this at the library the other day, too. It's kind of a warm day. She looks a little overdressed. She takes off her boots. It's too hot to run and too hot to play, so Red Knit Cap Girl and White Bunny find a shady spot to read. Aww. She's got a book. Bunny's got a book. And along comes a squirrel. You're right. Squirrel wants to show them something, but he won't tell them what. You'll see when we get there. Come on. That's all he would say. What is the bunny reading about? Can you see it on the cover of Bunny's book? She's reading about carrots. Maybe she's learning how to plant carrots. Red-knit cap girl and white bunny scamper after the squirrel. I wonder what squirrel has to show them. Wow. What a big tree, says red-knit cap girl when squirrel points. No. Not pointing to the tree. Look inside the tree. Wow. It's like a cave. Red-knit cap girl looks inside the hole in the trunk. That's what I wanted to show you, squirrel said. It's called a nook. And Bear asks, what's it for? Red-knit cap girl listens to the leaves rustling, and she feels the soft grass under her feet. She looks at the nook again. What could we do with that? Do you have any ideas if you haven't read the book? I have an idea, she said. Red-knit cap girl puts her book inside where it will be safe and dry. I'm going to put my book inside the nook so that everyone can read it. Wow. I will keep my book inside the nook so everyone can read mine too, White Bunny says. I will too, said Squirrel. Great idea, Bear cheers. Hedgehog is too excited to speak. He just squeaks, eek, eek. There's Hedgehog. Wow, they're all leaving books to share. Sounds like the beginnings of a library. The birds swoop down. We have something to share too. They bring a newspaper. I don't have a book, says Beaver. He's sad. He wants something to share. What can he share? Beaver has an idea. Goes home. And you know what he does with those teeth, right? What's he going to do with that log? Let's find out. He gnaws and hauls with his teeth and thumps with his tail until, what's he building? He even has instructions. He's building a bookshelf. Wow, as he puts it into the nook. Everyone is very impressed and admires it. Good job, Beaver. The next day, Deer brings his book to the nook. Duck follows with her book. The deer, the duck, Turtle has so many books to share that she carries them on her back. Oh my goodness. This is another good story about sharing. In one story, we have an empty pot. We put 3 stones. People share their food. And we have soup. In this story, there's an empty nook in the tree. Animals bring their books to share. And what do we have? A library. Very cool. Wow. Sly Fox doesn't help. She sneaks to the nook when she thinks that no one is looking. How silly they are, she thinks, leaving all these books here for me to steal. And she takes one. But she's not stealing. That's what the books are there for, to share. She'll find out. There's the fox taking the blue book with her. What The little girl sees her. The other animals bring more and more books to the nook, and they read every day until the air turns crisp and cold. So we've gone from late summer, when it was kind of hot, although she's still wearing her hat and her scarf, to autumn now. And it's really too cold to sit around the nook. But she hasn't met you, my Storytime friends who've been coming outside since July. There's no such thing as too cold for us, right? But she brings, blankets. That's exactly what you guys bring to the library. Blankets. Snuggle under these, the sheep says. They've made warm wool blankets for everyone. And then the nook is even cozier. I want to find this place. All summer, all fall, Owl and Moon have been watching the red knit cap girl and her friends. And we had a beautiful full moon, right? Just a couple of weeks ago. Now it's almost winter. The days are shorter and dark comes earlier. Owl and Moon talk in hushed voices about what Red Knit Cap Girl and her friends have done. Moon says, we can help too. And she tells Owl how. How can the moon help? They work all night. The moon shines a light so that Owl can see. Looks like Owl is carving something in the wood. In the morning, I'm not going to show you yet. In the morning, Red Knit Cap Girl and her friends see what Owl has made for them. Red Knit Cap Girl reads the sign out loud. Library. It says library with blankets. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, they're so excited. Library, she says. A library is a place where anyone can borrow books. Red Knit Cap Girl winks at Sly Fox, who smiles shyly back. Oh, I didn't know you could borrow a book from a library. See, Sly Fox, it was okay that you took a book. Just bring it back so somebody else can read it. Well, that night the moon shines her light on the nook and the friends, and they all read together. Sly Fox returns the book she took, and Red Knit Cap Girl reads it out loud to everyone. They're having their own animal story time. Cool. Thank you, Red Knit Cap Girl, says the little ones who can't read yet. Thank you, deer, bear, birds, duck, squirrel, hedgehog, beaver, sheep, turtle, and turtle babies. Sly Fox, Owl, White Bunny, and Moon. Thank you all for making our library, says Red Knit Cap Girl. And she says, at the very end of the story, it's good to share books. Can you sign that with me? It's good to share. That's the sign for share. Books. All right. Good listening. Okay, let's see. Wow, we've been reading for a while, but you know what? I think we could do one more. This is about friendship because we read about sharing, people becoming friends in the village, friends with the soldiers, making soup. These friends working together to share and make a library. And then we have two of our favorite pairs, favorite friends, Gerald and Piggie. This is by our friend Mo Willems, who writes some of our favorite books. My friend is sad. Some of you know Gerald. How do we know Gerald is sad? That's right. When his trunk is down and his ears are down. And look at his mouth. Mo Willems just drew a line that went. And look at his eyes. He really doesn't look happy. Oh dear. And Piggie's worried. My friend is sad. What can I do? Oh, says Gerald. Thinks Piggie. And she says, my friend is sad. Wonder what I can do. I will make him happy. Uh-oh, look at Gerald. He's really sad. He looks worried too. Wonder what's wrong. Yeehaw! Who's that? Right, it's a cowboy, but it's really... Right, it's really Piggie. Yeehaw! Says Gerald. He's happy. A cowboy. What's wrong? Look at him now. Oh no, he's super sad again. Gerald loves cowboys, but look. He's still sad. Okay, I have an idea now, said Piggie. And now she comes in as a juggling clown. Exactly. See the question mark above Gerald's head? Huh? He's thinking. But then he says, a clown. Does he look happy? Yeah, he does. But then, oh, says Gerald. He looks really sad. Clowns are funny, said Piggie. But he's still sad. What's going on? I don't get it. Oh, no. What is Piggie coming in as now? That's right. She is a robot. She's trying to cheer Gerald up. Will it work? It works. A robot, says Gerald. Uh-oh. How can anyone be sad around a robot, thinks Piggie. But there's Gerald back on the ground saying, oh. Gerald! Piggie! Is Gerald happy? He's gone from this, crying, to this, because he sees his friend, Piggie. I'm so sorry, Gerald. I wanted to make you happy, but you're still sad. Oh, no, I'm not sad now. I am happy now. Why is Gerald happy? You're happy? Really? He looks happy, right? Oh, it gives Piggie such a big hug. Yes, I am happy because you are here. But I was so sad, Piggie. I was so very sad. I saw a cowboy. But I thought that made him happy. But you love cowboys, Gerald. I do love cowboys. Uh-oh, Gerald's speaking in a very loud voice, and that always means he's shouting, yes, but you were not here to see him with me. Well, in fact, she doesn't even get to explain that she was really the cowboy and all the other characters. And then there was more. There was more, Piggie. And I saw a clown. Oh my goodness, a funny, funny clown. So why are you crying, Gerald? But you were not here to see him. But she's not going to be able to tell him. Uh-oh. Remember when Gerald sometimes speaks very loudly? Piggie gets flipped over. There was more. There was more, said Gerald. Please, there was more. More? I saw a robot. A cool robot. It was so cool. And my best friend was not there to see it with me. Oh my goodness, Gerald, pull yourself together. But he loves Piggie so much and they're such good friends. He didn't want to miss it. But, you see, Piggie though, Gerald, I'm here now. You are. You are here now. My friend is here now. Oh, and he gives Piggie another big, big, big hug. And they smile at each other and just sit and don't say anything. They're best friends. And Gerald said, I need my friends. And Piggie's thinking, you need new glasses because you didn't see that it was me. Oh my goodness. Gerald and Piggie, two of our favorites. And whoop, what's under here? Wait a minute. Oh, who's sitting with Gerald? There's the pigeon. There's always a pigeon hiding in the back of the book. Okay, my friends. Excellent listening. I will see you soon. I hope you enjoyed these stories. I enjoyed being with you. Well, I can kind of feel that I'm with you, even though I can't really see you, but I can picture all your faces as if you were all here in my house. Okay? So, Happy New Year, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.